we will see how to launch EC2 instances. So let's do that. You click on EC2 and come here. So here, this gives you a kind of summary, how many instances are running, capacity reservation, elastic IP, key pairs, all those things. And we can click here, launch instances, or we can click here on the left side and click on instances, go here and launch instances. So we'll do that. So while launching instance, we can give it a name. This is an optional. Even if you don't give it a name, you can launch an instance. So first we will launch Windows-based instance. So I'll give it a name Win EC2, and then we have to select an AMI, Amazon Machine Image. These are the predefined OS available for EC2 instances. So for Windows-based EC2 instance, we will select Windows AMI, and this is a free tier eligible AMI. And here instance type, which is a kind of configuration of a particular instance, what could be the CPU, memory, and everything. So here you can see T3 micro. So I'll show you one quick information here. So ideally T2 micro is a free tier instance type, but where we don't have T2 micro available, then T3 micro can be used, and that is also a kind of free tier category. So here we are in North Virginia region, and here T2 micro is not available for Windows based EC2 instance. That's the reason it is showing T3 micro. When we will create a Linux based EC2 instance, you will see T2 micro here. And key pair. So key pair is used as a credential when we want to log into our EC2 instances. So as of now, you see there are no key pairs created. For Linux based system, we can also proceed without key pair. But for Windows based, we need to create a key pair credential. So I'll click on this. Here we have two options, PEM and PPK. So if we want to connect our EC2 instance using Putty software, we can use PPK, else we can go ahead with the .pem file, and we can give it a name. So EC2 key, I'll give it a name, and then create key pair. So as soon as we create it, it gets automatically downloaded to our system. And then I'll scroll down further. So here is the network setting which we can configure for our EC2 instances. So for now, I will not make any changes. I'll keep everything default. So, and this firewall security group, here we define what kind of traffic is allowed if for a EC2 instance. So for this, you can see that allow RDP traffic and from anywhere. So you can RDP to your instance from your local machine as well. And based on, and while creating the security group, it will automatically give it a name launch wizard 1. So if we don't want to continue with the default setting, we can either create automatically get created, or if we already have a security group which we have created, we can select that security group, right? So for now, we will not make any changes here. We will keep it as default. And this configure storage. So storage, this is a default storage for a Windows based system. So 30 GB and general purpose 3 root volume will be created. And if you want to add new volume, we can use this option. And here you can see this advanced details. So here we can domain join directory, IAM instances, profile, and all. These are additional configuration setting which we can do for our instances, which for now we will not do any changes here. And this is again additional user data, which is optional. And we will do one lab on user data, how to use it. So for now, that is all the setting which we want to do for this particular instance. And then we will click on launch instance. So it is launching the instance. And you can see that successfully initiated launch of instance, and this is the instance ID. And you can click here view all instances, or you can click here and go back to EC2. So I'll click here view all instances, and here if you refresh, you can see that Win EC2 instance has been created and it is in running state. So let's create one more instance which is Linux based, and then we will try launching both the instances. So I'll click on here, and then I'll give it a name, then EC2. So I've given it a name, and I will select Amazon Linux as a AMI for this. So Amazon Linux is a customized Linux version where Amazon CLI is also available. You can go for any other Linux version like Ubuntu, Red Hat, whichever you're comfortable with. And here you can see that this is also free tier eligible AMI. And then here you can see that this time it is showing T2 micro instance type, because for Amazon based AMI it is available. So I'll scroll down, and I will continue to select the same key pair for this as well. And then I'll further scroll down. I will not make any changes, and allow SSH traffic from anywhere. So we can do one thing: either we can create another security group for this one, or we can select existing and then launch wizard 1, and then we can further modify this security group to allow the SSH from anywhere. So for now, we will continue with this one, and then in our upcoming live, we will see how to modify this these security groups. And for Linux based instances, this is the default storage. So I'll not make any changes here. The same goes with the additional data. Will not make any changes there. And this section shows the summary of the instance. Okay. So I'll click on launch instance. So here you can see that successfully initiated launch of instance and instance ID. And if you click on view all instances, and if you refresh here, so here you can see Windows based instance is also created, and Linux based instance is created. So here let's try connecting these instances one by one. So in order to connect this instance, we can select here and click on connect. And before we connect, these are few additional information which you can see here: instance ID, public IP of this instance, and then private IP of this instance, DNS and of public DNS, private DNS, all these details, and host name of this instance. These are the information which you can use if you want to for If you want to connect your EC2 instance from your system, you can use this public IP address and you can access it from your system. And status and alarm, it will, this page shows if there are any alarm for EC2 instance. This shows the monitoring data for this particular EC2 instance. Let me so, and the security section shows that the security group for this particular EC2 instance, this is launch vr 2, and this same security group you can find here also, security group. If you click here, and you can see that launch vr 2, and if you want to modify, then you can go here, and then these rules here you can add, you can bound rule. Let's go back here, and then networking. Again, it shows the networking information of this EC2 instance, and then the storage type, it shows what is the storage and what is the storage name, and if you have attached any additional storage, that will also get listed here. And this further shows those volume monitoring metrics here. And then if you give it any tag, then it will show here. So these are all the details available which you can use based on your requirement. And then let's connect it. So I'll click on connect. Here we have an option to connect EC2 instance. uh, and if you can see here, click on connect, and then it will directly connect here. And if you want to SSH your EC2 instance, then you can use this command which is already available. We will check both. So here I will click here, and EC2 instance connect using EC2 instance connect, and then this is the default username which gets created. I'll click on connect, and it will launch that instance. So it is launching. So here you can see we are successfully connecting that instance. And if we want to validate if that instance which we have launched has the same information which we have seen on that detailed page. So here you can see that IP address 172.31.94.178, and if we go back, and here 172.31.94.178. So this is the same instance which we have launched. And then optionally we can do one more thing. We can connect the same instance using CLI from our system. So let's copy this one, and then I'll go to CMD, and we have to go to that download because our key pair is downloaded here, otherwise it won't launch. And I'll paste that command here, and I'll click enter. And here I'll type S, and here you can see that we have successfully connected to our instance, and we'll validate the IP. Here you can see that 172.31.94.178. So this is how we can connect the instance from our local system as well. So we'll use this one, and now we'll go back to the instances and click here, and we will launch our Windows based instance. So we'll click here, click on connect. For Windows based instance, we have to go here, use RDP client, and then we need to click here, download remote desktop file, and you can see the file has been downloaded. We will open this file here, and then connect. And it is asking for a password. Username it has already taken. If you can see that default username is administrator. So for Windows based system, the default username would be administrator. So in order to get the password for this, you have to click on get password, and the file which we have downloaded, that key pair, we can upload here, and select this one, select this, and decrypt it. And here you can see it has generated the password. So copy the password, and then go back to the window, and then click on the password, and then click OK. And here you can see it is connecting now. And you can see it is logging in. Let's wait for some time, let it log in. See that it's successfully connected. So that is how we can connect our Windows based EC2 instance. So, and if we want to connect the Windows based EC2 instance from our local system, we can alternatively use this MSTSC. This is available on Windows based systems, and here we can just take the public IP of our EC2 instance, and then we can connect here. So if you can see here, and then click here, and paste here, connect. Administrator and password which we have decrypted, we can give that password here, and it will connect. So for now I'll cancel this one. So that is all in this lab, and before we finish the lab, we need to make sure we are also deleting all the instances which we have created, so that we are not charged. And so I'll select both the instances, and then I will, before that I just wanted to log off from this instance. So here you can see that even if you don't log off it, there is no issue, but it is always better to follow the best practices. So we have disconnected our instance, and now this one also, I'll close this one. Click on action, and here before we terminate the instances, here are some additional settings which we can do for our instances. And in order to terminate instance, we have to click on instance status. We can stop the instance, we can reboot the instance, and then we can terminate the instance. So we can click on delete instance, and you can see that both the instance ID are showing here. And if you click on terminate, so it has successfully initiated the termination. So that is all we wanted to cover in this lab, and we'll continue